The Young and the Restless Spoilers Monday Full Episodes March 10, 2025 Shattered Bonds and the Price of Betrayal, a Genoa City chronicle. In the dim light of Genoa City's twilight, the tension in the mansion was palpable, a stage set for heartache and the unraveling of long-held alliances. The corridors echoed with whispered secrets and anguished cries, while every character in this intricate drama bore the scars of betrayal and regret. At the heart of the unfolding storm lay Phyllis, a woman whose fierce determination had always defined her. Tonight, however, her spirit was eclipsed by pain and remorse. Struggling in agony on a richly upholstered sofa, Phyllis clutched her stomach as the poisonous cocktail coursing through her veins rendered her almost immobile. The venom was a cruel punishment, inflicted not solely by fate but by the consequences of her own defiant actions, a bold transgression against the unwritten, yet ironclad, rules of the game. Sharon, haunted by the premonition of disaster, had spent countless sleepless nights trying to change the course of events. She had repeatedly implored the enigmatic and often ruthless boss, her voice raw with desperation, "Please, sir, have mercy on us. Give Phyllis the antidote she so desperately needs. We beg you, let forgiveness replace vengeance." But her entreaties met only the thunderous roar of authority. The boss's voice boomed through the lavish study, his eyes cold and unyielding as he declared, "This is the rule of the game." Phyllis chose to disregard it, and now she must pay the price. In this world, no one is permitted to err without consequence. Sharon's face, etched with sorrow and disbelief, betrayed the burden of foresight. She had foreseen the dire outcome of Phyllis's reckless defiance, a future where a simple act of rebellion would exact a devastating cost. In her mind, she had painted the tragic picture, a woman ensnared by her own hubris, collapsing in despair. And now, as she witnessed the bitter reality, Sharon felt the weight of guilt pressing upon her, knowing that if only her warnings had been heeded, the cruel twist of fate might have been averted. As Phyllis writhed in agony, her body convulsing with each spasmodic wave of pain, the air in the room thickened with despair. Her suffering was not merely physical. It resonated with the very souls of those who had come to love and loathe her in equal measure. Every whispered judgment, every secret longing, now hung heavy in the space between the trembling breaths of those present. Meanwhile, in a parallel narrative of retribution and tangled loyalties, Audra's simmering resentment was beginning to manifest in explosive ways. Once a woman of quiet ambition, Audra had now taken up the mantle of vengeance against a backdrop of personal betrayal and fractured alliances. Her animosity was directed at the once unbreakable bond between Damien and Hold'em, a friendship that had crumbled under the relentless pressure of business intrigue and personal vendettas. Audra recalled a time when Damien and Hold'em had shared more than just boardroom strategies. They had been inseparable allies, their camaraderie the bedrock of countless shared dreams. However, the turbulent world of Genoa City had a different plan. A bitter dispute over the direction of a major business venture had led Damien to make a fateful decision, firing Hold'em, a move that turned trust into treachery. What had once been a promising alliance was transformed into a festering wound, a chasm filled with mutual hatred and unspoken accusations. Now, as they roamed the familiar streets of Genoa City, neither man spared the other a glance, their eyes hard and unyielding with the resolve to see the other eliminated as if he were an obstacle in their path. Amidst this backdrop of hostility, Audra sought to stitch the torn fabric of relationships back together. In a twist that revealed her inner complexity, she was determined to play the peacemaker, attempting to reconcile the bitter feud between Damien and Hold'em. "I refuse to let our past define us," Audra declared, her voice trembling with both passion and sorrow. "We were once friends, allies who stood together in the face of adversity. I believe there is still a chance for us to reclaim that bond, to turn our enmity into understanding." But her pleas, though earnest, were met with skepticism and hardened stares. The wounds of betrayal ran deep, and trust, once broken, was a fragile thing to mend. Nate, a man known for his unerring instinct and methodical approach to uncovering the truth, found himself drawn into the vortex of these intertwined narratives. While many dismissed the claims as mere gossip or the dramatics of a soap opera plot gone awry, Nate was compelled to verify every detail. His investigation was not merely an exercise in duty but a personal quest to discern the truth amid layers of deception and conflicting loyalties. "I cannot let these stories remain unchallenged," he mused, his mind racing through a maze of possibilities. "Every word, every action must be scrutinized. Only then can we untangle the web of deceit and find the true heart of this crisis." As Nate embarked on his inquiry, the mansion became a microcosm of the broader struggles at play. The boardroom, the hallways, even the quiet corners of the estate bore witness to silent confrontations and furtive glances. The specter of the past loomed large, a reminder that every decision, every act of defiance or mercy, was intertwined with the fates of those who dared to play this dangerous game. The boss's decree had cast a long shadow over the unfolding events. His unwavering belief in the sanctity of rules had set the stage for a relentless pursuit of justice, one that was blind to personal pleas and the intricate human emotions that simmered beneath the surface. Phyllis's fate, now sealed by her own rebellious choice, served as a stark reminder that in Genoa City, even the slightest deviation from the established order could unleash a torrent of unforeseen consequences. In the wake of these dramatic events, the mansion's opulent rooms bore witness to a kaleidoscope of emotions: the bitter taste of regret, the burning desire for redemption, and the fragile hope that even the deepest wounds could one day heal. As Phyllis lay in her solitary torment and Audra fought to mend what had been shattered, the characters of Genoa City found themselves on the precipice of change, a moment where the interplay of fate, choice, and the unyielding rules of their world collided in a symphony of pain and promise. Ultimately, the night's events would serve as a turning point, a testament to the complex interplay between mercy and punishment, loyalty and betrayal. And as Nate continued his relentless pursuit of the truth, every secret, every whispered confession, and every act of defiance promised to reshape the very foundations of the relationships that bound these characters together. In this world of shadows and light, the rules might be rigid, but the human spirit, with all its contradictions, was ever unpredictable, and it was that unpredictability that made Genoa City a stage for both tragedy and, perhaps, eventual redemption. The web of desperation, a race against fate in the darkened corridors of Genoa City's abandoned warehouse, the tension reached a fever pitch. The air was thick with anxiety, and every ticking second threatened to bring irreversible change. Amid the oppressive silence, a single, chilling voice emerged from the shadows, a voice that belonged to the elusive kidnapper. His tone was both mocking and desperate, carrying the weight of the terrible ultimatum he had in store. "I have hidden the antidote in this very room," the kidnapper announced, his words echoing off the cold, concrete walls. "There are 2 pills here, but only one is needed to bring Phyllis back from the brink. You, Sharon, will be the one to find it." Sharon's heart pounded in her chest, her mind reeling with the gravity of the situation. The very thought of venturing into the treacherous environment, under the duress of a ticking clock and the threat of violence, was almost paralyzing. Yet she knew there was no alternative. Phyllis, the woman who had often been the pillar of strength, now lay helpless, her body a lifeless vessel ravaged by poison. The antidote was her only hope of revival, and Sharon was the only one with the courage to risk everything for a chance at saving her. Phyllis lay on a threadbare sofa, her eyes fluttering weakly as pain shot through her limbs with every labored breath. Her once vibrant spirit was diminished to a frail whisper of suffering. Unable to rise or move on her own, she was entirely dependent on the mercy of fate, and on Sharon's determination to find the cure. Every moment that passed deepened the void between life and death, intensifying the palpable dread that gripped everyone present. As Sharon gathered her resolve, the warehouse's oppressive silence was shattered by another turbulent disturbance. In a secluded corner, Daniel and Chance had escalated their simmering argument into a full-blown confrontation. Their voices, harsh and filled with resentment, cut through the tense atmosphere like a knife. "Look at what has happened," Daniel bellowed, his voice resonating with frustration. "The police have become utterly irresponsible. Their negligence allowed this abomination to occur. They treat every crisis as if it were just another inconvenience, when in reality, Their inaction has endangered every single one of us. Chance, his face flushed with anger, retorted, "Oh, come off it, Daniel. Blaming the police won't bring Phyllis back. We need to focus on what we can do now, not on wasting our time with endless accusations. This is about survival, not about playing the blame game." Their argument, fierce and unchecked, underscored the profound divisions that had long been festering beneath the surface. The rift between Daniel and Chance was emblematic of a broader fracture, a world where trust was a luxury and every decision was fraught with the peril of unintended consequences. Yet, even as the discord flared, both men shared a common, albeit unspoken, concern for the fate of their friend. Their emotions, raw and conflicted, were a reminder that beneath the hardened exteriors, there lay hearts willing to fight for redemption, even in the midst of chaos. Back in the main chamber of the warehouse, Sharon steeled herself against the looming danger. With every step she took toward the designated room, memories of past battles mingled with the current peril. She recalled the countless nights spent wrestling with the ghosts of decisions past, and the ever-present dread that every choice carried the potential for devastation. The room where the antidote was hidden was cloaked in darkness, its corners hiding secrets and dangers that only the brave, or the desperate, would dare confront. Inside that ominous room, the kidnapper had left subtle clues that hinted at the antidote's location. The room was sparsely furnished, with an eerie stillness that belied the deadly secrets it harbored. The pills were hidden in a small compartment behind an old, dust-covered bookshelf. It was a trap-laden puzzle, a cruel test of wit and nerve, set by someone who seemed to delight in the suffering he had orchestrated. Sharon's mind raced as she carefully surveyed every inch of the room. Every shadow could conceal an ambush, every creaking floorboard might signal the return of a threat. Time was slipping away, and as Sharon's hands trembled with a mix of fear and determination, she recalled the kidnapper's chilling words, "Only one pill was needed, but which one would work?" The stakes were as high as they could be. A wrong move could seal Phyllis's fate forever. She rummaged through the compartments and locked drawers with surgical precision, her eyes darting between the possible hiding spots. In the midst of her search, the echo of distant voices, Daniel and Chance continuing their heated dispute, reminded her of the fractured alliances that this crisis had laid bare. Outside, the argument between Daniel and Chance had evolved into a volatile spectacle, their impassioned words drawing the attention of everyone within earshot. Daniel's voice boomed again, "This entire debacle is a symptom of a broken system. The police have been lulled into complacency, ignoring our pleas until it's too late. Their incompetence is a direct cause of our suffering." Chance, with a look of weary exasperation, shot back, "And what do you propose, Daniel? More finger-pointing? We need solutions, not endless bickering. I'm all for holding someone accountable, but now is the time to act. Focus on saving Phyllis, on stopping the madness." Their heated exchange was more than just a clash of opinions. It was a microcosm of the crisis that had overtaken Genoa City, a city where every broken bond, every splintered trust, only deepened the chasm between hope and despair. Amid the chaos, every decision, every heated word, had the potential to either mend the fragile connections or shatter them irreparably. Meanwhile, the kidnapper's presence lingered like a specter, his unseen eyes watching Sharon's every move through hidden cameras and silent monitors. His motive was as murky as the depths of the warehouse. Was it a test of loyalty? A demonstration of power? Or perhaps a perverse form of mercy, a twisted game where the price of failure was not just the loss of life, but the irrevocable collapse of all that was cherished? Sharon finally uncovered the compartment that held the antidote. Her heart leaped, but the victory was bittersweet. The compartment revealed 2 identical pills, resting on a faded velvet cushion. In that moment of clarity, Sharon's mind raced. Which pill was the cure, and which might be a further deception? Her training in high-pressure crisis situations urged caution, and yet the sight of Phyllis's trembling form pushed her into a realm where every second counted. As she hesitated, the kidnapper's voice crackled over a hidden speaker, dripping with a sadistic glee. "Choose wisely, Sharon. One pill will revive her, the other will condemn her to a fate far worse than death. The choice is yours, but remember, in the game of life and death, there are no second chances. Sharon's hand hovered over the pills, her breath catching in her throat. The weight of her decision was immense. Every memory of Phyllis's kindness, every shared moment of laughter and sorrow, surged through her mind, fueling her determination. She knew that no matter how impossible the odds, she had to trust her instincts. With trembling resolve, she reached out and selected one of the two pills, praying that her choice would be the beacon of hope in this dark night. Outside the room, the cacophony of emotions and arguments reached a fevered pitch. Daniel and Chance momentarily paused their verbal sparring as the gravity of the situation reasserted itself. Their conflicting perspectives on responsibility and accountability were momentarily eclipsed by a shared, unspoken urgency, a need to see Phyllis saved and to restore some semblance of order amidst the chaos. In that fraught moment, as Sharon prepared to administer the chosen pill, every eye in Genoa City seemed to be watching. The unfolding drama was a stark reminder of how fragile life could be, and how a single decision could ripple through the lives of so many. In a world ruled by the ruthless mechanics of power and betrayal, every action was fraught with risk, and every choice bore the weight of consequence. The seconds stretched into an eternity as Sharon's hand closed around the pill. With a deep, steadying breath, she made her choice, one driven by love, loyalty, and the desperate hope of redemption. As the pill was given to Phyllis, a collective breath was held, and the room fell into a heavy silence. Would this act of faith be enough to counter the venom that had stolen Phyllis's vitality? Only time would tell if the antidote could reverse the cruel hand fate had dealt. And as the tangled web of conspiracies, fractured alliances, and desperate actions continued to weave itself around the lives of those in Genoa City, one thing remained clear: in the ruthless game of survival, every choice was a gamble, and the stakes had never been higher. In the aftermath, as Sharon's eyes met those of a hopeful yet weakened Phyllis, the true cost of betrayal and the bitter consequences of broken promises were laid bare. And even as Daniel and Chance resumed their debate, each man haunted by his own demons and the shared guilt of a system that had failed them, the promise of the antidote offered a fragile glimmer of hope, a chance at redemption in a world where the line between salvation and damnation was razor-thin. Thus, in the heart of darkness, where every whisper of mercy battled against the roar of fate, the people of Genoa City faced a new day. One where the echoes of past mistakes mingled with the promise of a second chance, a day where, against all odds, hope might yet triumph over despair.